Yes, Cubans are getting deported, but they are not getting deported back to Cuba. And these are not the Cubans who have entered the United States in the last few years. These are Cubans who have been in the U.S. since the 1960s, 70s, 80s. And at one point, they were even lawful permanent residents. But because of their criminal history, they lost their immigration status and were ordered deported. But because of the political situation between the United States and Cuba, they were actually never deported to Cuba. And instead, they were placed on what's called order of supervision, where they typically go once a year for a quote unquote check-in, and they meet with an ICE officer, and the ICE officer makes sure that they don't have any other crimes going on and they're abiding by the terms of their check-in, and they're able to apply for a work authorization. Since Cubans were not accepted by Cuba to be deported, they have remained in the United States for decades under the order of supervision. But now, since the Trump administration is pushing hard this third country removals, Cubans are now being deported to various locations, including Mexico. You're seeing Cubans go to their ICE OSUP check-in appointment and be detained, and they're spending a few weeks in Chrome and then being transferred over to Texas. And then from Texas, they're being placed on a bus and then deported to the southern part of Mexico. Shame, because I think if ICE had told them what the plan was, these people could at least prepare for it. But sadly, they have absolutely no idea that this is even coming to them. And now they've been in the U.S. for 50, 60 years with relatives and businesses and families and ties to the U.S. and just being dropped off in another country with no ID, no money, and no resources.
They're going to do mass deportations in New York City, California, Chicago, Denver, my own city. But they're going to do it in Miami. And let me tell you something. When I say that I don't feel one bit sorry or worried or concerned when they start deportations down there, those are the ones that I'm going to be watching on TV. Of all of those people in Hialeah that voted for Trump. Because the chickens are going to come home to roost. That bus is never made, right? And when it happens, and they see that the price of eggs are not going to go down, y se van a tener que comer los huevitos. Mira, la carne, el huevo y la leche, they're going to have to put those milk and those eggs in their mouth, and that meat, they're going to put it, se van a poner en la boquita, todos esos cubaniquis. And on their way to Havana, they're all going to get deported. It's really crazy. They're going to learn their fucking lesson the really hard way. Se les avisó en guerra avisada. Muere gente. Eso de que no muere gente. People always like lose their lives on this type of shit. But they're going to learn the hard way. And I'm here for it. I'm going to watch it on TV. Que tenga buen día.
Some critics have said the cruelty is the point. In that respect, it does work. There's a lot of indications, both some initial data and anecdotally, are leaving rather than getting rounded up. And there are people being rounded up. I live in Miami. I have seen the raids, the roundups, the arrests by ICE from traffic stops just randomly on the road. And when you arrest a lot of people, you have to put them somewhere. And in Miami, the Chrome Detention Center is one of the biggest immigration lockups in the nation. It is overcrowded. They need to put people somewhere if they're not going to release them on the streets. This is the cheap, and I'm putting that in air quotes, solution to it. It is less expensive than traditional incarceration, but it's going to be a lot of money going forward.
Yeah. Woke up to outrage from people from all over Central America, all kinds of countries. Why? Because the Cubans just got singled out by the Trump administration. Why? Almost 50,000 of them claimed asylum, came here from Cuba because they said their lives were in danger in Cuba. So they claimed asylum. Cuba has special laws in place with America. So after you've been here for 1 year, you get a permanent resident card. You don't have to go through a bunch of hoops to get it. You get it really quick. Problem is, their data is completely tracked. And you know what they all did? They all went home. They all went back to, after they got their permanent resident card, they all flew back to Cuba to visit mom, dad, Theo, grandpa, everybody. And it's all been tracked. And that's why these 50,000 people almost from Cuba have just put the radar on the fact that people are coming here, claiming asylum, and then flying back to their country. And this is what angers so many people from other countries, because they know now that this data has been released, that all their trips have been tracked and they've gone back to their countries. And the huge spotlight that has just been put on people with permanent resident cards that claimed asylum but went back to their homes. And they're saying, why couldn't you just do it right? Why couldn't you just not go? Some of us did it right. Some of us came here, enjoy the freedoms America gives us. And we've had grandparents pass. We've had parents, sisters, brothers in our country pass. And we don't go back because we won't risk what we have here in America. And the people in our country understand that. We were fortunate to get here, and we're going to try our best to stay here. But they're afraid that that's putting a huge spotlight on the whole asylum thing. And will it happen to other countries? Will they get the spotlight put on them too? Because some of their people are doing the same thing the Cubans just got caught for.
Do you remember that Cuban band that sang that song, I Will Vote for Donald Trump? I was wondering what happened to them. And so I did a bit of research, and I came across something I thought all of you would find very interesting indeed. Hold on a minute. Let me get it for you, okay? And when you're done watching it, jump in my comments and tell me what you think. I really want to know.
Cintura, 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 cintura. I will vote for Donald Trump.
It's been happening frequently at the 333 Miami Avenue Federal Court building. Janet Correa's husband was detained this week. According to her immigration lawyer, he has already been placed on expedite removal.
I cannot believe what ICE and Customs and Border Patrol are doing in the Miami airport. I'm sure they may be doing it in other places. I picked up a rider earlier today who was returning from Europe. And the rider, basically, to make a very long story short, was detained for hours. The rider is a U.S. citizen, been born in the United States. Their parents have been citizens of the United States for 30 years, and they were detained. ICE asked them many questions. They end up wanting to go through their cell phone, to go through all their social media accounts. They asked the person while they were traveling, what they were doing while they were out of the country. The person told them as to why. Doesn't know completely, but again, told them all that. Then they wanted to go through and how much money they were making on their social media accounts. They wanted to see their posts, and they started asking them questions about Donald Trump and what their feelings were, etc. Guys, this is wrong. We have a First Amendment right in this country. You can express your opinion for or against a person, a political person, certainly, or express yourself on anything you want to do. But they kept them for hours. They go through their bags, and the person was quite distraught when I had picked them up. And it bothers me because I travel also. And I can imagine people traveling, and they just start going and just asking all these random questions. Okay, it's one thing if you're bringing something into the country that you shouldn't be doing. Somehow you purchase things, or you're bringing some type of illegal substance. But to be harassed because of your social media and to be pulled out of the line for no reason. For what reason? Why did they even go through all? And it was hours. It wasn't done once they kind of went through their stuff. It was hours and hours and hours. This is wrong. This is what they're doing to people, and they're randomly doing it to whoever the heck they want to do it to. You've seen it from senators on down. They'll do it to them. They'll certainly do it to little people like us when we're traveling and no one else can see what's going on. Let people know about it. This is wrong. It's time for our political leaders to do something. It's time for the Supreme Court to do something and stop cow-cowing to Donald Trump. We don't need another king or a dictator in this country. Love to hear from my Democrats, my MAGAs, my crazies, my cuckoos, and my burned out light bulbs. You can hear my voice. You can tell when I'm a bit agitated. I don't like this. Yes, America is spiraling out of control to a full fascist dictatorship. Period. End of stop. Russell Vote. Project 2025.
¿Por qué están arrestando personas inocentes que solo huyen de una dictadura, de una tiranía asesina comunista?
Tras la detención de la joven cubana Laura de la Caridad González Sánchez, líderes del movimiento anticomunista I-220A expresaron su apoyo.
Como movimiento legal en el estado de la Florida, necesitamos, por favor, que se tomen en cuenta que si no hemos cometido crimen, que tenemos nuestras vidas organizadas, nuestro asilo pendiente, que por favor no tenemos por qué vivir con este terror.
I will vote for Donald Trump. I will vote.
Raise your hand, come on.
For Donald Trump.
Oh my God, I will vote.
Arriba.
I will vote for Donald Trump. I will vote.
I want to thank Los Tres del Habanas. How did I do, Mercy? For their incredible performance.
Nosotros lo hicimos porque nosotros queríamos. A mí nadie me pagó un centavo. A mí nadie me dijo que esto iba a ser beneficioso, ni siquiera que iba a traer.
Oh my God, I will vote. I will vote for Donald Trump. That's what y'all did. Those people didn't even get paid to do that. That's crazy. The wordplay that the GOP specifically used in Florida, especially Miami, on Venezuelans and Cubans is unreal. They told you guys that they're only going after the criminals. You guys are the criminals. When you come to this country illegally, that's the crime. But what you do is you seek asylum because you're saying you're running away from a very bad government. But you still have to get here to seek asylum. And when you seek asylum, you give your name, where you're living, where you're working. That's how this works. So that's what they did. They didn't go around trying to find a bunch of illegal immigrants everywhere because that's difficult to do. Apart from the farms and the construction sites, it's hard to find illegal immigrants in the country. They don't leave a paper trail. But people that seek asylum do. And that's why they went to y'all houses in Miami and picked y'all up because they knew where you were at. Your paperwork wasn't completed. But hey, I will vote for Donald Trump. You voted for your people to get deported because he don't give a shit what you look like. Y'all could look white. You can have the proximity to whiteness. But you are from Cuba and he don't give a shit. So thoughts and deportations. Oh my God, I will vote. I will vote for Donald Trump. Y'all stand 10 toes down in your vote. Don't start now.
They're not deporting them anymore. It's not deportation anymore. It's literally trafficking. The Supreme Court ordered in favor of the Trump administration to allow migrants to be deported to third world countries. Sudan, El Salvador, any other third world country. Even if they were not born in that country. That is not deportation. That is quite literally trafficking. They are paying these private agencies to transport detainees, but it's literally trafficking. Take a look at the meaning of deportations under the Code of Federal Regulations, which the United States government should be following. Let's read it together, friends. Any alien other than an alien crew member or an alien who boarded an aircraft or vessel in a foreign contiguous territory or an adjacent island who is ordered excluded shall be deported to the country where the alien boarded the vessel or aircraft on which the alien arrived in the United States. Otherwise, the Secretary may, as a matter of discretion, deport the alien to the country of which the alien is a subject, citizen, or national. The country where the alien was born, the country where the alien has a residence, or any other country. Where they were born. Emphasis on where they were born, citizen of, or nationality of. Why did the Supreme Court not uphold the Code of Federal Regulations and the Constitution and sided with this administration that has already proved itself to do unjust things to brown people, to migrants, and the thing is it's not even whether they're here legally or unlegally. It's migrants. They could have came into the U.S. as refugees, asylum seekers, came with temporary protected status, came with some form of legal relief, in which was revoked with this administration. So the administration that made them now undocumented is now ordering them to be removed to a third world country in which they are not from and they have no relationships to. This is quite literally trafficking. They are trafficking them. And it's legal trafficking now. Reason number 500,000 to hate this administration.
Immigrants and minorities, the undocumented illegal immigrants of Miami-Dade, are waking up to three harsh truths. Number three, Miami-Dade didn't just vote yes and deputize local police to become ICE agents. No, they voted to betray their own bloodlines. Two, immigrants build Miami. Miami-Dade wouldn't be what Miami-Dade is if it wasn't for the immigrants, the undocumented, the hard immigrant workers that have come to this area to build it. But yet Miami-Dade commissioners voted 3-2 to deport them, to get rid of them, the very people that helped build Miami-Dade. Now, before I give you the number one, look at this. Please comment, repost, share this, hit favorite. Let me know what you think. Number one, documented people that have come decades looking to escape dictatorship and deported by their own neighbors, by the people that you would think would be defending them.
Tomorrow when they start deporting people, start in Miami. Get them whitewashed ass Cubans up out of here. Get their ass gone. Them Cubans that think they Caucasian, get them bitches up out of Miami. Get them up out of here. Sarnar.
Y'all want to know what the fuck is ironic and what's really actually sick if you actually analyze it and think about it? That the Cubans that sing, I will vote, are the same ones that can thank himself, Donald Trump, for deporting, statistically, in his first term, the most amount of Cubans from out of any U.S. president since the 1990s. This is an actual known fact and statistic. And isn't it ironic that it was a Democrat, Lyndon B. Johnson, that in 1966 was the one to sign the Cuban Adjustment Act, allowing Cubans an easier and smoother route to get a green card here in the United States after being here for a year. And isn't it ironic that who they're singing about, Donald Trump, in his first term also in 2020, the amount of asylum approvals decreased all the way down to 4% from previous years, which were about between 25 and 30%. Giving y'all some facts. These are facts. Isn't it ironic how Clinton, a Democrat, was the one that enacted the wet foot, dry foot policy that allowed a ton of them to come here and stay? And isn't it ironic that they don the flags, the Trump flags, on their boats and in front of their houses in Hialeah? But this is the same dude, the same piece of rapist that cut staffing at the U.S. Embassy, making it exponentially harder for Cubans to get visas, and ended the Cuban family reunification program for them. And finally, in this present day and age, with what we're going through right now with these immigration raids in 2025, isn't it fucking ironic that they are still singing, I will vote, but yet it's the Democrats that are still fighting for them to stay here. Meanwhile, a lot of their families and Cubans that have come fresh from Cuba are being rounded up in these ICE raids and taken away. And the only people that are vouching for them and fighting for them strong and staying strong, fighting against these criminals in this administration, are the actual liberals and the Democrats that they so love to call comunista. Because again, as I have said in previous videos, they fail to learn the system in this country, and they equate liberals and Democrats to communists for some reason. Well, I know the reason, because they refuse to educate themselves, and in their brain, in their mind, they're still living in Cuba, in the political system that they had in Cuba. No matter if they're in their 60s or 70s or 80s or 90s and like that, they refuse to educate themselves and continue to equate liberal, Democrat, or anybody slightly either moderate or even left-leaning. They equate it automatically to communist. because of the lack of education and just the pure fucking ignorance that's in the Cuban community. So meanwhile, the Democrats, even with all their flaws, because it's a heavily flawed political party in the United States, regardless, they are still putting in the work and still fighting for Latinos and for immigrant communities here in this country to stop this, because the reality is that a lot of these raids and a lot of the that this administration is doing is unprecedented and has never been seen before on American soil because of how dirty and nasty they're going about doing things. Not to mention, they are doing things so nasty and so wrong and so dirty that they are being sued left and right as they should. So Cubans, continue. If you want to keep living the way that you're doing and keep singing, I will vote for Donald Trump, keep doing what you're doing. But just know that y'all don't have a good reputation in the Latino community because you keep supporting the same dictatorial bullshit that you and your families left Cuba for a better future. And you came here for a better future, to seek out a better future, and you're still doing the same shit and repeating the same fucking mistakes that your previous ancestors made. And that is why we are in this fucking mess. Please go and educate yourselves.
I used to be one of those people way back when that said, if you want to come to this country, that's okay. Just come the right way, whatever that means. Honestly, I don't care. I don't care if you have papers or not. It doesn't affect my life in any way. And after learning what our immigration system is like in this country, I don't care if you have papers, ever get papers. My grandparents on both sides, my mom's parents and my dad's parents, fled Cuba shortly after Castro, took power, early 60s. And my parents, as far as I knew, were permanent residents forever. They never became citizens. If they became citizens, it's been only in recent years. As far as I knew, they were only permanent residents, never bothered to get their citizenship. So, and those people, my parents, support this administration. Yeah. So my grandparents fled Cuba, my father's parents, in the middle of the night and landed in the Florida Keys in the wee hours of the morning, in the early 60s, because Castro was in power and everything that was happening there. They came here, they didn't have papers. They were greeted by, the local church that helped them, gave them food, gave them clothing, helped them, get accommodations. And as a result, my parents are here and I'm here and my kids are here because of what my grandparents did and went through to get here. So what a hypocritical I would be if I sit here now and say, well, come here the right way, whatever that means. And my story isn't different than most people's. Okay. You're here because someone in your family way back when sacrificed and came here for a better life, fleeing something, persecution of some kind, right? So what a hypocritical asshole are you now to come and say, well, come here the right way. So for all you hypocritical assholes out there screaming, deport the illegal immigrants, deport the illegals, you're here illegally, come the right way. You voted for a convicted felon who has actually pardoned convicted felons because they support him and they're rich. Being undocumented is not illegal. What is illegal and should be illegal, and he should be in prison, is pardoning actual convicted felons, people that were convicted for breaking federal laws. Have the life you deserve.
Political governmental manipulation. Here we go again. So now the Cubans are going to suffer because the Supreme Court gave Trump the okay to deport over 500,000 people. And some of those people are going to be Cubans. Cubans are going back home. And listen to this. You know what I realized? So one government says, come on in, come on. Y'all are welcome. And they come in and that government gets elected because people are saying, oh my God, they're helping the Cubans. Fidel is doing them so bad. And here comes Biden, Clinton, all of them. Let's go. Let the Cubans in. Let them in. All right. So then they come in and now they're going out. Right? Then also now, Biden open up the borders, let everybody in. Then Trump come in, they're going out. And innocent people that has been here, now a light is shined on them. The political parties just use the people just for their benefits, and they don't care about the people. We see this time and time again. This is crazy. So now Cubans that has been here, has the protection of being here because they flee, they're gone. Whatever they have established, families, whatever, gonna be broken up and gone. Back to a place that we know is hardship. Yo, this is just crazy. And the Supreme Court, that part, the highest court, one government said these people can come in and gave them asylum. Then the Supreme Court is saying, no, you can send them back. So what does that say? Who do you believe? Not the government.
Who else is laughing at the Cubans? Who else is laughing at them? Laugh with me, okay? Because they thought they were better than other Latinos, and now they're getting their just desserts. Karma's a bitch, and she's bringing ICE with her to deport your ass.
I'm an immigrant. I came here the legal way, and I think that is such a crazy argument to be making right now with the state that our country is in. Even though I came here the legal way, I understand that that was a privilege that I received solely based on where I was born. You guessed it, I'm Cuban, and I currently live in Miami. I just want to make sure that everyone who follows me on this page knows that I am not that kind of Cuban. I know you know what I'm talking about. This country needs serious immigration reform, and it's not in the form of mass deportations. It is not snatching people up when they show up to try to do it the legal way. Immigrants deserve to have their cases adjudicated in the court system. They deserve due process unless proven otherwise, mama. One last thing. If you're using the whole, but they're criminals, like they're just targeting the criminals. Like, are you so for real right now? Are you for real? Do better. If you are a Latina influencer on this platform and you're using this platform to benefit in any way, please speak up. Your community needs you. And lastly, this country was built by immigrants, and this country needs immigrants and serious immigration reform.
We all know America's doomed since the Orange Man's administration took over. They've been doing crazy stuff since they got in office, and I think this one is even more crazier. We all know from day one, the Orange Man been talking about deportation. That's his number one goal, trying to get undocumented migrant out of the country. Now, there's a possibility that ICE might work with the IRS to get undocumented people information to figure out who's here undocumented and who they need to deport. So, they've been trying to figure out who's undocumented, picking up random people off the street, figure out they're citizen, they're not. This is a hot mess. So now they might work with the IRS to get personal and confidential information about people to see who's undocumented and who they need to deport. Because everything they've been doing hasn't been working. So now this is the next step. Illegal step. Unconstitutional step. Yeah.
But I want to talk about mass deportation and how it may affect the Cubans here in Miami. Now, I am from Miami, born and raised in the county of Dade. I am a true Floridian. Now, I've seen the good, the bad, and the ugly of what Miami can, as well as the racism from the Latin community, especially the older ones. For some reason, they despise black, even though we always been here. But I digress. Now, word on the curb is 50,000 Cubans from Miami may be deported back to Cuba. Now, the reason they're looking at deporting them back is because they say they lied on their paperwork when they sought asylum to remain in the country. Now, I'm not sure how it worked, but what it's saying is when they seek asylum, they literally had to fill out in detail in the paperwork in order to receive it that their country was a dangerous country. They couldn't go back and they needed to stay here because this allegedly is a safe space. In doing so, they declared their lives was in danger because of their home country. And this is why they can't go back. But what had happened was, and I feel like the state and the country and everybody have been tracking this because they had to. They're saying that 50,000 of them who seek the asylum actually revisited their country. And what they're saying is, if your country was so dangerous, why did you go back as a visitor? And this is why they're looking to revoke 50,000 people asylum, because they're saying that now they lied on the documentation in order to stay in the country. So I'm not sure exactly how that would work because that is a lot of people. I have a lot of friends in that community that I love to death, but there is a lot of people in that community, again, like I said before, that really don't like black people. And there's no reason why. Like, some of them really don't like us, and the shit is confused. But what do y'all think about this? Leave me a comment. Let's talk about it. And don't forget to hit the follow button. I want to know, do you agree with this move? Do you think this move is too aggressive? Because I think it's too aggressive. But leave me a comment. Let's talk about it. And don't forget to hit the follow button.
Some critics have said the cruelty is the point. In that respect, it does work. There's a lot of indications, both some initial data and anecdotally, are leaving rather than getting rounded up. And there are people being rounded up. I live in Miami. I have seen the raids, the roundups, the arrests by ICE from traffic stops just randomly on the road. And when you arrest a lot of people, you have to put them somewhere. And in Miami, the Chrome Detention Center is one of the biggest immigration lockups in the nation. It is overcrowded. They need to put people somewhere if they're not going to release them on the streets. This is the cheap, and I'm putting that in air quotes, solution to it. It is less expensive than traditional incarceration, but it's going to be a lot of money going forward.
Yeah. Thank you for watching Great Minds Blacks.